What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Craig Keon, and we back again with another episode of But What Do I Know? Today, we're gonna try to switch up the tempo a little bit. I know I've been coming at y'all heavy with the politics, and I'm sorry, but sometimes some stuff I just feel like I gotta speak on, man. If not me, then who else? But today, I want to talk to you guys about overthinking. Now, me being the king of overthinkers. Literally, I feel like it's an important topic to touch on because, a lot of times overthinking, let me say this, overthinking in general, I feel like isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think it actually can be a gift because a lot of times I see people who don't think enough. Like they definitely just be out on a limb. And it's all about balance. But, I just wanted to talk about it because I feel like a lot of us are in the same boat, but sometimes we just don't, speak on it openly and honestly. So I want to come at y'all honestly and open from my perspective on, just overthinking and, some things we can do to overcome that. So first of all, I just want to say personally myself, I am an overthinker. I super analyze every single aspect, every facet of life. Like I have a very curious mind when it comes to certain things, and if something intrigues me, I go deep into it. But with that being said, a lot of times, sometimes I find myself being held back by myself because instead of actually, stepping into action, I find myself just overanalyzing too much and thinking and collecting information and just not really actually applying that information. So I just want to talk about, a couple ways that me personally, I've been trying to apply to myself personally, and it's been, kind of working. Like even this show itself, it was a lot of overthinking before I actually got the courage to put myself in front of a camera and actually, speak to the people. So one of the things I really feel like helped me a lot is my self-talk. Now we all have our own form of self-talk. What people call it consciousness. Your subconscious. How they show them cartoons. You got the angel on one side, the devil on the other side, whispering in your ear, talking too much, and whoever you end up listening to more, that's who you kind of tend to go in that way. So I really realized like the way I talk to myself, it tended to be skewed sometimes a little bit more towards the negative end. So if I'm like approaching something new, and I'll just use this podcast for an example, sometimes when you overthink, I feel like it's a plus, but it could be a negative when your overthinking tends to skew and sway into a negative direction. So if you catch yourself overthinking and it always ends to like that negative side, and that's typically where the anxiety and the depression and all these negative stigmas tend to matriculate and come from, then I feel like that's when it's a problem and that you should address it. So my self-talk, I try to change that a little bit and try to make it more positive because like I said earlier, like everybody has that internal dialogue, that voice in your head that just constantly going and constantly talking to you and constantly maybe that's just me, but I just know personally, like it's always that voice that just kind of like second guessing anything, like if I'm taking an action or doing something. But I tend to find out that it's usually when I'm doing something like new, and something that's out of my comfort zone, something I'm unfamiliar with, and something that I'm taking on and looking at it as a new challenge. That talk, I try to like be positive. Like even earlier today, as I'm filming this, like I kind of was in the negative like space a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like just kind of in my own head, kind of think about worst scenarios. You think about the grind sometimes. Like this is my end goal, but like right now I'm right here and it's tough. I can't think about how do I get to this end part. And just telling yourself like, no, I am going to get to that end goal. I am going to be successful. I am going to be the biggest podcast in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just really shooting for the stars and landing on the moon, or however you want to say it. Like it's just really that internal dialogue and that internal talk, like just kind of like forcing yourself to think positive thoughts about yourself. Like that's really powerful for real, man. And I'm talking like literally from experience and by no means am I perfect at it. No means do I can sit here in front of you and be like, no, I do it every day. This is just, it is a challenge, and it is something, I constantly work on, constantly, especially with the show. Like this is new to me, and I know where I want to take it to, but I also understand, the day to day and the step by step process that it take, to eventually get there. But I find my anxiety and all that being, decreased and at a minimum when anytime I get that negative thought, I combat it. It's kind of like I'm fighting, you fight yourself, but it's just like I combat that, like no, like I'm not worried about the money necessarily right now, or the views right now, or making sure everybody share and comment. I love to see it, but at the same time, I look at who is watching, who is viewing, who is tuning in, how many views do I got. I'm appreciating that, because it's somebody probably doing the same thing with less, or it might be somebody with more, but I know everybody started at a point in time, and you just kind of keep progressively going. So I think the positive self-talk is a huge one that definitely worked for me. And then also, be a kid again. And what I mean by that is, I know we all remember, at least I do for sure, in our younger adolescent years, just some of those ideas, those grandeur thoughts that you just thought about, that as you progress through life, they became more unrealistic. They seemed a little bit less attainable, and to some people maybe that never clicked in their head. But I know for me personally, like some of those things, like kind of those thoughts tend to creep in, and whether it's trauma or loss or anything that you go through would make you kind of put your mind. You're like, I gotta put my adult hat on. No, I gotta be realistic. But to be honest, that kid that's fearless, that who hasn't really been tainted by the world, and they just got those pure, innocent thoughts. Like, try to remember what it felt like to be that person again. And when you thought about your dreams and how you was gonna achieve them, like, you really didn't think about the how as a kid, but you just knew, like, I want to be a singer, I want to be a dancer, I want to be a NBA superstar. I want to, all these ideas that you got in your head, where it not happening ain't really an option for you. It's just about like whether you really want to do it or not. So that's the kind of mindset I be trying to put myself in again. Like, just think about like the kid in you, still try as much as possible to keep that inner child alive still, because once you kill that child, that's when I feel like it's tough to get, sometimes to get out of those dark places. Because, even with my, like, I don't personally have any children, but just watching my niece and nephews and, just the simple things in life that they get super excited about, they juiced about, like, that's the, that innocence, and, just how fundamental, like, we take everything and we make it such a big deal, and how, they just carefree, you don't got to care in the world, like, not worried about bills or nothing, just try to put yourself in that mind frame. Granted, I can't cut off life, I can't shut it off, I can't just tell my bills to stop and, that type of deal. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you continue to still try to let that kid thrive inside of you, and I feel like that's where all the creativity and stuff like that stems from, is just that inner child. I feel like, that negative self-talk or that overthinking, it just all gets, put down at a minimum. So I just feel like it's definitely important that, continue to be creative, continue to explore yourself. I don't think there's a certain age where you just be like, all right, this is who I am definitively. Like, ain't no more changing, ain't no more adjusting. Like, this is who I am. I don't think we ever really should ever be to that point. I feel like until, like, honestly, the day we, fortunately pass away and we die, like, I feel like we should always be pushing the envelope, pushing for growth, pushing for, exploration, who we are spiritually, who we are mentally, who we are physically. Like, how far can I push my body, things like that. Like, I feel like, we should never have a true complacency on who we are or what we think we are in life. Because one thing I know for a fact, especially more so when I was like doing more traveling and associated around basketball and things like that, the best part of that was just meeting the different people. Like, for instance, when I went overseas, I was in Belgium for about like a couple weeks, part of some program, but I met a lot of people who didn't live in America. So just me sitting there picking their brain about my experience over here in the United States versus their experience in Belgium and Italy and different places they live, like, you know, that stuff intrigued me because it's just like, yo, it's like my mind was fixated on this one experience and making life work over here. But I'm like, it's a whole different world where they have different values, they have different dialects, they have different cultures, you know, different things that make them move and get them going and get them up for the day. So, you know, just stepping outside of your box, out of your comfort zone, like, you know, that exploration, that curiosity, like that, you know, kind of fuels me. So, like I said, I just wanted to do this quick little take on overthinking and, you know, putting something out there. I haven't seen Gary V, who's somebody I really admire and appreciate, and I kind of look up to as far as when it comes to, you know, just putting yourself out there and just, you know, kind of making content. It's just, he literally did a video of his leg. It was just talking like y'all just overthinking it. Like when it just come to the, you know, the content and stuff, like just create and, you know, put it out there and don't worry about the rest. And, you know, that's the kind of mindset I've been trying to get into. But as I sat here and overthinking, I'm just like, that's a good topic to hit, just because, like I said, man, when it comes to like people in general, like fundamentally, we very similar. You know, we have our things that make us unique, but we very similar. So, you know, those thoughts and those ideas that you feel alone in, I promise you, there's a community for you. And so that's why, like, some of these internal battles and stuff that I do and things and topics that come to my mind, I want to share it because I know for a fact, like, there's somebody else thinking about the same thing. There's somebody else worried about the same thing. This thing makes this person happy too as well. So I know there's a lot of us out there that's overthinking it right now, but I promise you, if you just do it, you will definitely feel better at the end of the day. And it's not about getting it right or might exercise, or you might do it and be like, you know what, I changed my mind. I don't like cooking. Like I thought I like cooking. Maybe I don't want to be a chef. Maybe I just want to, you know, do food reviews or something like that. It's just, you know, whatever. Like, but experience is the greatest teacher, and just actually, you know, feeding that curiosity, feeding yourself, turning off that thinking cap and just actually doing. Because even like you could be the smartest person in the world, but if you don't apply that knowledge to anything in life, what does it really mean, you know? So this is the message from trust me, the king of overthinkers. I promise you, bro. I don't know anybody who overthink more than me, but I just wanted to let you know it's okay to, you know, turn that off, stop overthinking, and just do it. So that's the message of the day from your boy Craig Keon on another quick take from But What Do I Know? And until next time, I'm out.